What you need to know about coronavirus on Saturday, May 16. A version of this story appeared in the May 16 edition of CNN's Coronavirus Fact vs. Fiction newsletter. Sign up here to receive the need-to-know headlines every weekday. That reassuring test result might be a false negative. The number of dead could be much higher. The reopening likely won't be what you imagined. As the novel coronavirus spreads at breakneck speed, so does information about it. But this week showed that much of what we know about the virus may need revisiting. Scientists are racing to understand the virus, but that sprint comes at a cost. Studies are being published without a rigorous review process ensuring they're scientifically sound. One day, there's excitement over a drug like hydroxychloroquine. The next, several studies find it has no benefit. A torrent of propaganda and deliberate misinformation, in some cases pushed by global power players, muddles the picture even more. Health experts and government officials in the United States and Europe are increasingly accusing China of stoking some of this confusion, reports Hot as Gold. They say Beijing is trying to shape the narrative through social media and state-run broadcasters by promoting conspiracy theories questioning the origins of the virus and even suggesting it was created in the U.S. But China is not alone. U.S. President Donald Trump keeps sharing dubious medical claims and unverified origin theories. Information coming from Russia doesn't seem to add up. Brazil's president continues to dismiss the threat of the virus, even as hundreds die daily. And in the United Kingdom, the unveiling of the country's reopening strategy this week caused much confusion. Social media is also filled with inaccuracies, some of them potentially dangerous. One study found that more than a quarter of the most popular YouTube videos about the novel coronavirus contained misinformation. You asked. We answered Q. Can coronavirus spread through talking? In April, a prestigious scientific panel said research showed the coronavirus can be spread by talking, or possibly even just breathing. That is why public health officials recommend, and some even require, the wearing of face masks. A new report published this week reaches the same conclusion. It found that dozens of choir members in Washington state were infected with COVID-19 in March after moving and stacking the chairs, sharing snacks and touching common areas. But the most likely way the virus spread, researchers say, was through singing and chatting while sitting close together. Send your questions here. Are you a healthcare worker fighting COVID-19? Message us on WhatsApp about the challenges you're facing, +1 347 322 0415. What's important today? Taiwan's coronavirus success infuriates China. Taiwan has done well battling coronavirus. As the global outbreak began, the democratic island of 23 million people banned incoming travel from parts of mainland China and forbade cruise ships from docking on its shores. It increased domestic face mask production and started daily briefings. Taiwan has recorded 440 coronavirus cases and 7 deaths, a stunningly low number. Eager to share its know-how, Taiwan is pushing for a greater voice in global health discussions. That doesn't sit well with Beijing. China regards the island as part of its territory and for years has blocked it from taking part in many global institutions. It has also turned down diplomatic relations with countries that maintain official ties with Taiwan. Nectar Gann and Brad Lendon report. Brazil crisis deepens. Brazil has lost its second health minister in just a month. Nelson Teich stepped down yesterday after clashing with President Jair Bolsonaro over the country's coronavirus strategy. In April, Bolsonaro fired his predecessor, Luiz Henrique Mandetta, after a prolonged standoff. The virus, meanwhile, has spiraled out of control. Brazil reported 15,305 new cases between Thursday and Friday, a record increase. With more than 218,000 confirmed cases, Brazil is the worst-hit country in Latin America. Even as the number of Brazilians killed by the virus surpasses 14,000, Bolsonaro keeps dismissing the threat and opposing social distancing measures. Dozens of surrogacy babies stranded in Ukraine. Dozens of babies born to Ukrainian surrogate mothers are trapped in lockdown and unable to join their adoptive parents abroad as the country's borders remain closed. One reproduction clinic in Kiev says it is caring for 46 babies whom parents from the US, UK, Spain and other countries hope to take home. Lyudmila Denisova, the Ukrainian parliament's human rights ombudsman, says around 100 babies are stranded in clinics across the country. This story has sparked debate about the ethics of commercial surrogacy in Ukraine. The end of privacy? Spit into a cup when you land in an airport and your DNA is stored. Every mobile phone in every city talks to every other nearby device. Cross-border travel is enabled solely by governments sharing data about millions of private movements. These are all possible visions of a future that the coronavirus pandemic has rushed on us in just weeks. Will this grave new world intensify our desire for privacy or extinguish what little left of it we had? Nick Payton Walsh reports. On our radar, the Transportation Security Administration is working on a plan to check passenger temperatures at some U.S. airports. If the pandemic continues to drive up unemployment at current rates, homelessness will increase by 40% to 45% by the end of the year, according to a Columbia University economics professor. Card tables, dice games and slot machines at Caesars Palace are being retooled across the casino floor with social distancing and disinfection in mind. Samuel L. Jackson, Ciara, Common and others sent messages of hope to underserved communities hit by coronavirus during CNN's The Color of COVID special. Legendary footballer Gary Lineker says you cannot play football and social distance. IKEA's instructions for building the best pillow forts are what parents need right now. Deserted Venice contemplates a future without tourist hordes after COVID-19. Today's top tip: tune into CNN this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for a 2-hour special honoring the class of 2020, featuring celebrities and former U.S. presidents. More details here. Graduating in the middle of a global pandemic is weird. The new normal is forcing school administrators to get creative for upcoming graduation ceremonies. Many schools will hold virtual events or drive-through celebrations. Others will postpone their ceremonies until the summer in the hope of holding them in person. One dad even held an elaborate ceremony in his front yard after his daughter's ceremony was cancelled. But some schools are finding safe ways to ensure the show goes on, and there are plenty of options. LeBron James and Travis Scott have teamed up to design a t-shirt for the class of 2020. A bakery in Minnesota is giving away hundreds of graduation cakes, and Michelle Obama is throwing a national virtual prom. Those who graduated in the midst of previous epidemics, wars and equal rights movements have some advice too. Click subscribe to receive the latest news.